What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. I'm muted again. I'm muted again, but I'm not. Thank you so much, very much to the crowd telling me I'm muted. Welcome to the breakdown. I know you love that commercial. I know you love that commercial. That is one of the greatest commercials of all time, ladies and gentlemen. That is one of the greatest commercials of all time. Shout out to Cake Wallet. Okay, shout out to Cake Wallet. All right, let's play that again. Hold on. Let's play that again. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Shout out to Cake Wallet. I am a professional. You will see, yo, shortly, I am telling you, you're going to see me doing icy hot commercials, okay? Are you suffering with back pain because your mans went ahead and broke your back? Well, try icy. Welcome to the breakdown, sponsored by Midnight. Shout out to Midnight. Shout out to Midnight and everything that Charles is doing out there with the team. I know Charles is finally back sitting behind the computer. Charles gave an epic speech about the Clarity Act. I think he sparked something in President Donald Trump. Let me make sure I say it correct. Donald Trump, okay, to go ahead and then blast these candy asses about this Clarity Act bill that has only clarity for the banks. I say it all the time. I will keep on saying it. We need clarity that allows our innovators and allows our retail consumers, which is you, to go ahead and participate the right way. Get yield on your money, make money on your money, not continue to get 0.33% on the money that you put into the banking system. Fuck the banks. Anyway, shout out to Midnight. Shout out to Cakewall. You saw the commercial. And shout out to the official prediction market sponsor of this show, The Breakdown, and the DG brand. That is Polymarket. All right, we got Landy waiting in the back. Landy's on time. All right, let me be honest. Can I be honest with you guys? All right, I worked out today. I worked out. I was like, all right, I still got 20 minutes. I tried to rush everything. It didn't work out. And then I had to upload the new Cake Wallet commercial onto the program. And I was like, fuck. And look, I didn't even switch. Look, I didn't even switch. This is how bad it is. I didn't even switch to overlay. But now I did. Episode 677. Episode 677. Let's bring Landy right in because he's been waiting. You can catch Landy. By the way, I hope that you caught Landy's breakdown of the markets. Okay, Landy's breakdown on the markets was great. You know what? Before I bring Landy in, I want you to see what we're talking about when we talk about quality. Okay, quality content, value content, free content, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let me show you this right now. Let me put this up here. Let me put this up here. If you don't know Landy's page, it's at CryptoLandy. I said .com. At CryptoLandy on X. Okay, let me just show you a little bit of what Landy does here. This is the show that I talk about Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're willing to up your game, if you want to understand the markets, if you want to understand the macro, tune in to Landy.
Right? In this weekly downtrend, a lot are getting excited. I think it's a little too early to get excited. Be excited. Enjoy the green days. But it's a little too early to call macro lows, which I'm seeing a lot across the timeline of like, ha. Everyone's going to say that they bought at the lows and, they're going to be, farming you or whatever. Like realistically, this is a rally to resistance. This is a downtrend. And the only way that this changes character on like even a weekly would be with a close above $98,000, which is also the 50 simple moving average on the weekly. And a rally off of the 200s here, not unexpected. Just like, a lower high wouldn't be unexpected either. So
if you notice, Landy, before I bring Landy in, and he's probably going to, I don't think he'll get mad at me, but I feel like I'm watching either John Madden explain how Barry Sanders ran through the gap here to go score that 80-yard touchdown. Or I feel like sometimes I'm watching, like right now, I think like I'm watching, all they need is a background of a map. Can somebody do this? All you need is a background of like the United States of America, the map of the United States of America on the back of this right now. And it would look like a fucking weather pattern. Like the cold pressure is coming from the northwest. We might be in for a northeaster. More snow on the horizon for the northeast. And we see high pressure build up from the Carolinas. Anyway, let me bring in Landy. Landy, hello, good morning to you.
How you doing, David? Yes, as you can see, we have a low pressure system coming into a high pressure system right now on the charts here. It's quite amazing, actually. We haven't seen this in quite a long time. It's been about a month since we last saw this. You know, we were just coming off of the 200 period moving average low pressure system, and now we're moving up into a high pressure area where, as I noted in yesterday's video, actually. Um, Expect things to pull back. We hit a key area yesterday, 74.75 is what I was calling for. We got 74.100 on spots. So, yeah, I do suggest that people watch Monday, Wednesday, Friday because, um, you know, I'm the TA world champ. So you might want to tune in and hear what I have to say. But you know what? You don't have to either because I'll take all the edge for myself if I need to. I'll just keep all the edge. Keep edging.
I want to respond to some vicious comments coming. At least it looks like slowly we're getting X to come in here and chat. We have a
Yes.
lot of lurkers in the house, and listen. I appreciate anybody who fucking clicks the button to watch us go live. Um, I see a comment here that says light mode. I want to address the situation here quickly. I
Mhm.
I have everything in dark mode. Okay, I have everything in dark mode. Um, with for some reason with X, even if I put it into dark mode, it still pops up with light mode. And that might have to do with me having it on auto settings. Because when nighttime comes, when 6 or 7 o'clock at night hits, this shit turns dark. And I'm not talking about my personality, I'm talking about the screen. This shit turns dark. So I just like to address the rumors that I am or any psychotic and that I watch things in light mode.
You know, I told GPSC that I was going to roast you for that because I can't handle having more light mode people around me. This is now starting to hit a breaking point. I know Ryan's out there watching. Ryan, no, he just explained himself. This is an acceptable answer. And dark mode wins. Okay, this is for Ryan Ladd. Yes, yes, you. Dark mode wins, brother. Much love.
Dark mode wins. Ladies and gentlemen, again, we are joined by, and I don't say, I'm not being facetious about this, and I'm not joking around. We are joined by one of the best TA guys in the game, Crypto Landy, obviously breaking down the charts for us every single day at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He's showing up. He's not even showing up early now because he doesn't want to see me, naked, getting dressed up and stuff like. So I appreciate him for doing that. Much respect to him. All right, Landy, what has changed since yesterday? Any changes um,
No,
since what you stated yesterday to today? What are you saying here?
no, you know, for Bitcoin in particular, and we can just kind of have a talk about it, because this is something that I think I am a I hate that there are people out there that make really declarative, definitive statements about where things are going as if they are destined to go there no matter what, and they lead and then they decide to lead into the charge of picking a fight with people like myself and others who actually study this and put out free information and content, um, because it bugs me that they are consistently wrong, and then they go back and they delete their posts, or they don't acknowledge that they were wrong and try to address the problem. So
Not
one
to
of the
cut you.
things.
Well, I cut you off, and I apologize, but I want to ask you on that topic. Do you think it's detrimental when somebody detrimental? What the fuck is wrong with me today?
Yep, English, yeah. It's our first language over here.
Yeah, I know. I was born here, and unfortunately, but detrimental. What the fuck is wrong with me today?
Detrimental?
Thank
There we
you.
go, yeah.
Sometimes you just can't say something,
I
and it
I
is what
I
it is.
do I do think it is,
Do you think it
detrimental.
is though, from the standpoint like you have people that put out these screenshots, uh, whether it's charts or whether it's P&L screenshots, right?
Fake P&L cards, yeah.
Correct. And which can be made by, whatever, ChatGPT or
There's
Gemini, Google
entire
Gemini, whatever.
there's an entire cottage industry of websites that are specifically P&L card generators that have all of the updated UI stuff that people edit for all of your favorite Mickey Mouse ass exchanges.
So hold on. Besides going to, let's say, like Google Gemini, Nano Banana 2.0, or
Yeah,
whatever else is out there
no,
in terms
there's
of AI,
there's
there are
template
actually
sites.
websites? Really?
Yeah, there's template sites that to go and
Okay.
generate P&L cards. Um,
I've been here for so long, I literally do not know where you would actually get one.
yeah,
I've
no,
never
they're
posted a PNL on the timeline.
well, this is something that what bugs me is, and let me be very specific. What bugs me is everybody's going to have an opinion about where things go, and it doesn't matter if somebody's right or wrong, but if you have an audience that you're telling it, your audience that price is going to go to a specific point or won't go below a specific point, like it'll never go below 100K. Shout out, you know who you are. Um, and they specifically will, bait and bait and bait at their own audience and then get into various, really pound the table over this, like very specific price levels and things like that, that, are going to be hit or not be hit or all of these other things, but they never tell you what the invalidation is. It would be respectable of them if they said like, "Hey, I don't think it's gonna go below or above this area, but my invalidation of that thesis or theory would be if it does this," right? There's a big difference, and it's something that, you see me on X especially. I hang out with a lot of very good analysts, some of the best in the game, and one of the things that is very common and that we get into, kind of pissing matches with some of these others about is if you're going to tell an audience that something is definitely going to happen and you're, and basically disparaging others for disagreeing, you better give your invalidation of your thesis or you're going to look like a fool. And I think that that's something that does harm the space because as more people come in and they hear somebody that says like price is never going to go below here or never above here, they're biasing that audience and not really teaching them anything. They're not educating them on like, hey, this is what I would do. This is how I view the markets. This is how I've made it in the past. It's not education. It's purely for engagement, and it doesn't benefit the audience in any way because they're literally just saying, they're declaring definitive things. Let's say if they're like, 60K was the absolute macro low. If you didn't get in, you missed it, and just being disparaging towards others who have a different opinion, and say they have a large audience that does follow them and really takes that to heart, and now FOMO'd in at $74,000, and now they're down because it's at 71 and oh man, they were wrong. And then you know what happens with a lot of people that don't know a lot about markets? They get scared, they panic, and they sell. Well, I might as well just get it lower, right? Instead of like encouraging, have patience, accumulate, make sure you're getting in, make sure you pick the levels that you want to get in at. I'm getting in at this level. That doesn't mean you're going to get in at this level, but you always want to be accumulating your, favorite assets. That's not what's coming out of some of these people. And it's been a long time. They're slowly going away as they get proven wrong or slowly changing their tune. But the problem is that analyzing where things are going and educating people is something that I try to do, to the best of my ability, 100% for free. And there's a lot of people out there that do not. That is not what their interest is. Their interest isn't in actually informing an audience about what's going on. It's about generating clicks, and it drives me nuts because we hit target that I was talking about for weeks now, above 72 to 74 to 75, above there 78 to 80, and above there, mid to low 80s. To the downside, I've talked about 60 to 58 well before this came in. 55 and under if it starts to drop that area. These are not preordained or destined things to happen, but it's setting the conditions and laying out what conditions need to be met in order to look for things to happen. And one of the things that I did in this video that you have playing is I talked about there's no need to FOMO. You don't have to FOMO because it's a downtrend. Even if we ripped to $100,000, you don't need to FOMO. A lot will, but you don't need to. You know why? Because it's a downtrend, and all that would do is break the downtrend. And in order to form an uptrend, you have to see price come back down and put in a higher low or an equal low. And that's when you can evaluate, hey, all right, that was cool. We had a character change. I think things might be changing. I think I'm going to get in here. And if it goes any lower, get in here. Right. And that's something that I'm not seeing a lot of anymore, David. And it used to be one of the really good things. And you've been a critic of Bitcoiners, especially as horrible salespeople. But the one good thing I think that came out of Bitcoiners in that regard before things kind of went wild with, every single opinion leader that on the planet that's being paid to shill various items on the blockchain, is that Bitcoiners used to calm people down about price action, and now they don't. They've moved into this new era of point the finger at the institutions, point the finger at certain players, in the blockchain. It's fine to call people out that are doing bad things, whether it be the institutions or the crypto native exchanges or some, miners that used to, go in and dump the markets just to buy back lower and pump it because they had the most amount of liquidity at that point, right? It's good to call them out, but then they've gotten into this cycle of just blaming any little thing that is the reason why this is happening, right? Like
Well,
that is
I don't want
definitive.
to, and I agree with you. Like, I've seen it. Look, you know where my stance is, Landy. I can care less about institutions. I don't like the
Yep.
banks. I understand the conversations that are had where, hey, you know what? In order for Bitcoin to evolve, you need these players to come in.
Yes.
You need the liquidity. Okay, I understand that. But for me, like, maybe if I just came into Bitcoin a year ago or 2 years ago, maybe my line of thinking would be different.
hmm
Being that I came in a long time ago, right? And the whole the whole value proposition was fuck the banks, fuck the institutions. This is for Main Street. Okay, we're not bailing out all this stuff. One of the greatest papers ever written. All this stuff, it has nothing to do with the banking system. It has nothing to do with kumbaya with them. It has nothing to do with institutions, nothing to do with kumbaya with them or partying with them, sleeping with them. When I see, you know what it is? It's just what I'm watching now, and maybe I'm wrong, but what I'm watching now is they are slowly, it almost feels like they are slowly taking control.
I
And,
would
and I
disagree.
and you okay, and that's fine. But it
They're
just to
still
me, Landy,
subject
that's
to,
what it feels like.
we've talked about this though. They're still subject to the largest holders, and the largest holders on just about every network are still OGs, hold massive
Correct.
amounts of crypto, right? And it's still a
No,
supply and demand
okay,
issue.
but here's my argument, Landy. And I so you are right. Like the largest holders are anonymous people that we do not know, and they're holding, and they've been holding since the Satoshi era and whatever. There are holders that we do not know who the fuck they are. And they make up the majority. I get that, Landy.
Mhm.
But we've seen a lot of OGs start selling, right? And those sells will be picked up by, well, the institutional players. Am I wrong?
Primarily no, yeah, primarily you're gonna see and we need to see that, right? And we talked a little bit about this. We need to see
O-
that rotation
All right. So then this is my question to you.
or
Once
distribution, I
these,
should say.
yeah, once the OGs start selling off and they go from being the majority to the minority, now what happens?
Well,
This is not funding Bitcoin. Remember, this has
no, I
nothing to
know, this is just crypto in general.
this is just crypto. Like, this is our house. This is retail's house. The whole point is to escape the fiat system, right? Am I right or wrong here?
Well, it doesn't seem that way when you listen to a lot of people nowadays.
Correct.
Um,
Like, if
it
you have
it
Bitcoin and you're selling it for fiat, then it defeats the whole purpose of this ecosystem. Am I wrong? Like, I'm fine with being wrong.
I've said this before, I believe, Bitcoiners, um, I would argue that many have a price, right? And if you have a price, are you really a Bitcoin maxi at that point, or are you a fiat maxi, right? So,
Agreed.
and like for instance, I'm not selling Bitcoin. There's various ways to use Bitcoin as payment, and there's various ways to leverage Bitcoin as an asset, right? So there's no, I'm not gonna, I'm not purely going to sell the most pristine asset to upgrade to what? Fiat's a downgrade, right?
Correct.
It's like if
So
you have a
that's
house,
my
you have a
point. It's
smaller
a
house, you upgrade to a
downgrade.
bigger one.
Landy, so like, if it's a downgrade, if fiat is a downgrade and we're holding one of the greatest generational assets of all time, right?
Yeah.
Why would you sell it for something that is worth less?
Well, because there's, and I think I've told you this before. I was on a space where an 82-year-old couple um was came into somebody's workplace and wanted help transferring over Bitcoin that they had from 2011 on a paper wallet, and they needed help to do so. So, we walked them through Electrum and stuff like that. And they sold Bitcoin in order to buy, you know, items, right? It's obvious, they had more, but they moved some of it to take profit essentially to buy stuff. They essentially did it right at the highs too. So kudos to them. Um, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. There is there is there's no shame in taking profits and moving it to fiat. We live in a fiat-based system, and it's the primary way that people survive here, especially here in the United States, is via payments through fiat, and eventually that's gonna move to stables, over
Yeah,
time.
but Landy, like, here's my thing, and I understand what you're saying. We live in a fiat-based system. Agreed, 100%. Bills need to be paid with fiat. I 100% agree with you.
They
But
won't need to be soon. I mean, you'll
correct.
be able to use anything.
But we are now all these. If you want to mention the banks, every single body is building infrastructure for stable coins, right? Or for crypto transactions.
Yep.
You can now get a mortgage by showing your Bitcoin assets, right? Or your crypto assets
Yes.
on applications. So my thing is this, is we are very privileged in the United States of America. Very privileged. We don't have to sell Bitcoin. Maybe in banana republics and in other places, you would need to sell, you would need to actually transact with Bitcoin. I think you would agree with me on that. Like a third world
Yeah.
country, you'd have to transact. If you got Bitcoin, you're transacting in Bitcoin. You can't save it. Can't hodl it. It's impossible.
Yeah, and if
Like,
you wanna be outside the system, you use Bitcoin. Look at Venezuela, Russia, China, Iran.
Iran,
Yep.
right? So
Yeah.
my thing is, in America, like, we are privileged. We're spoiled. If anything, we can hold, right? We can hold. Most people have jobs. Most people have jobs, right? They get paid in fiat, which could allow them to go ahead and, which allows them, I should, if not could, which allows them to pay their bills, whether it's rent, more, whatever it is, rent, mortgages, car bills, car note.
Mhm.
But my thing is, like, don't call yourself a Bitcoin maxi if you're going to sell off Bitcoin at a certain price. You said a certain price people sell, right?
Yeah, I
Then
mean,
you're going against every single thing that Bitcoin stands for, right? Oh my god, I sound like a Bitcoin maxi. This is horrible.
I know, right?
I'm
Well,
a Bitcoiner, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a maxi. I'm a Bitcoiner, not a maxi.
I'm
Okay,
Bitcoin first, right? And obviously, I'm wearing a Bitcoin crown here. Um,
and underwears.
one of the big things that I've said for a very, very long time is that Bitcoin and the traditional systems that we operate in are going to collide, right? They're going to collide. Bitcoin, I used to get a lot of shit in the early days for saying that Bitcoin is not going to outrun the system. It will be absorbed into the system, Trojan horse style, via various vectors, and it's going to change in the way that people in those systems. It's going to change in the way that they perceive what Bitcoin is, and then Bitcoin will change the way that they perceive the existing systems that we are in. And right, like I don't fault anybody for selling, but what does bother me is this revived culture that was happening, more towards the highs. A lot of people have now capitulated, but it'll never go below this number or that number, because what it does is it doesn't really inform an audience. That doesn't help people understand why Bitcoin's important.
Yeah.
It doesn't help the audiences that are listening understand why Ethereum's important or any of these other. Pick your favorite blockchain. What you're not doing by just focusing on, and this is funny coming from me, because what do? I talk about where price is going all the time.
Well, that's your job.
But the main reason that I do that is so that people understand and can plan for how they would want to position themselves in markets, right? I'm not a moon or doom boy. I'm not going to tell you, hey, guess what? Bitcoin's going to $250,000 this year. It's going to 500,000, $1 million this year. I don't say that those things as declarative statements. Why? Because that doesn't really help anybody actually get into Bitcoin, right? I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to rush over. I better get it now before it get. No, I mean, it's like, hey, as it's coming down, here's the levels that you should look for and where it might go next. Therefore, you can make a plan. Or hey, it's going up, and if you're gonna sell, go ahead and sell. Or if you're gonna hedge, which you can hedge, there's many ways to hedge in these markets, and you can hedge against your existing portfolio. And that's how you can then make a plan to accumulate more Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever it is that you want, Solana, yada, 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 down the list. And I think that and you've seen this too, from the bull structure into the bear market structure. Now, we had different narratives that ran. They all had a very short shelf life. And what remained was always looking at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is the vector for looking at the performance of these markets. And of course, Bitcoin outperformed the rest of the crypto markets by and large. Obviously, some things ripped off the lows much and went to much higher prices in terms of percentages, but also there was a lot more risk. And in terms of, hey, if you weren't paying yourself on the way up in those things, because the whole idea that many people who get into altcoins have is, hey, I'm going to pick up altcoins and then I'm going to make a bunch of money there so that I can buy more Bitcoin. And I think that one of the things that I try to do with the technical analysis piece is where Bitcoin goes in general, the rest of the market's going to go. And if you are in anything else and you would like to get Bitcoin, look at this. Look at this chart. Look at this photograph. I just want to do the meme at this point. Look at this chart. And
Uh,
and here's what I'm looking for. Make a plan. And I think I've said this to you. You've said it to everyone. Make a plan. If you're not going in with a plan for how you want to accumulate, especially in bearish periods, the hell are you doing? You just want to buy every high and sell every low? I mean, if you and the thing is people will say, "Oh, they were lucky. They got lucky." And you've talked about this before. If you've been here and you've been watching and accumulating during the bearish periods, you didn't get lucky. All you had to do is be present and have a plan. And that's it.
And be patient.
Patient.
That's it. Like,
Yes.
if you believe in something, right? You let it like when you cook, right? Like you let things marinate, right? And that's the kind of way I look at this. Like, you buy Bitcoin, and if you've done your research, and you've read over everything possible, and you've came to the conclusion of buying it, and it means that you put in the research, you're confident in it, so there's no need to panic. Just sit back and relax, right?
Yep.
You know, I mean, at the end of the day, like, whether or not I like institutions and the banking system, every single one of them are coming out. Not that I have to take their word for it, because they could be setting us up to go ahead and dump on us. You've said a few things like that in the past. I mean, everybody's saying we're going to $1 million. But that's
Yeah, but
another
what's
thing.
the time horizon?
You have a lot that, like, Saylor says 4 to 8 years, right? He gave the 48 years, standpoint. You have others that, Kathy Wood, she's gone from 2026 to 2028 to 2030 on her
Mhm.
prediction lines. It's
It's a
slowly,
moving target.
expanding. But
Well,
regardless, uh, look, I think there are trillions of dollars. I'm going off of numbers. I don't think numbers lie. People do, right? The numbers say there are trillions of dollars on the sidelines. Am I wrong? Like, there are trillions of dollars on the sidelines.
they're not on
Those
the
trillions will
sidelines
come
though.
into Bitcoin.
There's not trillions of dollars on the sidelines. There's trillions of dollars in the system that will move to crypto, right? Like
Well, that's
that's the
that's what
thing.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not in crypto. What I meant to say, it's like
Yeah.
they haven't even touched this space. Like, all that money, has even 1% of that money come into crypto?
Well, no. And when you're looking at the global financial system, well, one, a lot of the money that we talk about being in that system is rehypothecated fiat currency,
Yeah.
right? So, there is a place and use case, and to answer, like, there's questions and, like, some debate going on in one of the chats here. It's like, no, Bitcoin is the most decentralized network. Go look at the hash rate, go look at the node count. You're referring to pools, and you're probably looking at the top 5. Everybody talks about the same things. But realistically, I would encourage you to go and actually do some non-biased research on this subject when it comes to Bitcoin, especially because it is the most decentralized cryptocurrency in existence. There's a difference between network decentralization and holder decentralization, which holding is highly concentrated, hodling, if you will, and that's no different. In fact, there's way more hodlers on other networks in terms of percentage of supply held, that is far larger than even Bitcoin at this point. Bitcoin's pretty well distributed on the holder side, but it's still more than half are long-term holders. And then the network is the most decentralized network on the planet, and it is a global network. The institutions only play one part in this game, right, David? They still have, and in fact, the institutions that are here are just beginning their accumulation phase through the ETFs and DATs and other vectors that will happen in the future. The on-chain crypto native side of things, especially the native exchanges, they still, in terms of, transfer volume, and in terms of what we know has been deposited versus what has been removed from those exchanges, still dwarfs even all of the ETFs in aggregate. So we're in this period of time where we're seeing across not just Bitcoin, but all the cryptocurrencies, especially the OG ones that are being adopted by institutional investors and large institutions and governments quietly behind the scenes as well, is that we're seeing the that distribution from long-term holders to these new players, um, it's going to take time. right? These things take time. And that's why like Kathy Woods and others who have been calling for these crazy, crazy upside prices, they tell you it'll be this year, it'll be this cycle, it'll be nope, not this cycle, next cycle. They're all selling a product, right? They have investors in these things. They have to reassure them that they haven't turned immensely bearish on this asset longer term. Tom Lee's a good example, right? BMNR made the big shift. They get into Ethereum. They then, buy, they basically top blast in their exit liquidity for OGs. That's really what it came down to. That is, and everybody thinks like, oh, Sailor's, he always buys like the highs. Well, he's putting in an amount of money that's very substantial, that is exit liquidity on the other side, right? For every buyer, there's a seller. For every seller, there's a buyer, right? So I joke around of like, can't he just buy a low once? Like he's always coming out with these statements of like buying at certain levels, and we're well below those.
He
But
doesn't care. He
of
doesn't
course
give a
not.
shit.
That's not
You know why?
the goal.
Because he
And you had
understands
him
what the
on.
value of the asset is. Like
Yes.
that's to me, it's like it doesn't. I remember like he was on here. I've watched other videos or interviews that he's given, and he's just like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to continue to buy Bitcoin at all levels. 500,000, 400,000,
Yes.
$1 million Bitcoin. Like that. He doesn't care.
Because the focus isn't the price, it's on how much of a stack he wants to build.
Correct.
And no matter the price, it's about getting investment in, converting that to Bitcoin, and then, creating the product offerings that he's creating. And
Yes.
but this takes time, right? And he said it to you when you had him on, is like, you're still subject to the OGs in this space. And a lot of what we've seen this past cycle, and the reason why a lot of people were taken by surprise, is they figured the institutions were just going to put an infinite bid layer underneath of all of crypto. And it's like, that doesn't even make sense though. Like
Yeah.
they're just getting in and they're going to put an infinite bid and do what? Like buy your bags off you? Like
Correct.
that's, yeah, you could take profits and they can be some exit liquidity, but they're not stupid. They know what they're doing and they have objectives in mind.
And that is one thing. Like when I hear people talk about, oh, this is the one that's funny. Institutions are coming. We're going to dump on them. We're going to use them as exit liquidity.
Sure.
Do you understand who you're playing with?
Yeah.
Do you understand who you're playing with? You're boxing with one hand.
Well, I can tell you that the institutions understand who they're playing with, and they're playing with retail, because there's very few. I mean, outside of the institutions that were early to the game, and some, crypto native exchanges and funds that became institutionalized early, it's mostly, the old guard is mostly all retail, sophisticated retail that's fed up with the systems that currently exist. And it's funny because I just saw it, like Trump killed Bitcoin. Okay, if he killed Bitcoin, then what the hell did he do to all your alts? All right, like Bitcoin had a bull run, your alts didn't. That's the difference. And the difference is not Trump. The difference is institutions.
Yeah.
You asked me about the catalyst a few days ago. What's going to be the next big catalyst? And we could say for price action, because it will have an outsized effect on price action in terms of volatility, whether that be to the upside or downside. But the position, obviously, that Trump has taken, with really forcing the issue for regulation in the crypto industry through Clarity, that's going to be a massive catalyst, because there's a lot of capital that is parked on the sidelines waiting to get in. They don't have a viable vector, which, Saylor explained, I think, pretty well to you, and why people come to him and what problems he's solving. Right? Because if you're not solving a problem, you're not going to stick around. That's really what it comes down to. And that kind of legislation will open the doors for that. and open the doors for you're going to see a lot more stablecoin issuance too, right? You'll likely see a concerted effort from the BlackRocks, the Larrys of the world to tokenize everything, much as he said, right? And then, providing that liquidity on the other side by moving to stablecoin issuance or partnering with a stablecoin issuer in order to provide liquidity to 24/7 markets that are blockchain based via the stock tokens or RWAs. It's coming. And I think that many are and were banking on things happening. Like as soon as that legislation's passed, it's going to be the most bullish thing ever, up only season. But that doesn't, just because the legislation passes doesn't mean that everybody's just ready to flood the market with all of their liquidity and buy everything up and just
Well, that's
get those
because,
arms race.
but
Takes
Landy,
time.
that's because you have Kevin O'Leary going out there saying as soon as the legislation is passed, you're going to see trillions of dollars pour into the crypto ecosystem. That's due to these mouthpieces that go onto mainstream media and they say these things. So then you have normies within, or even not even normies. You have a lot of people within this ecosystem that are looking towards these individuals and saying, "Oh shit, look, Kevin and all these people are saying massive liquidity is coming in once the Clarity Act is passed."
I mean, he's not wrong, but
No, but it's not instantaneously.
yeah,
Like it's like,
exactly. That's the point. Is it's not, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't
right.
immediately spike everything into a bull market from here. Immediately we're making new all-time highs because everybody just talks about it as if it's imminent. It's going to happen right now. As soon as it passes, it's ready to go. And, if you didn't buy, then, you're stupid essentially.
Yeah.
And that is, I think that's I think a lot of it is because of the short attention span, the attention economy, and the ultra short attention span, and the need and want to have it now, right? Patience has gone out the window, especially we've seen it especially come down. I would argue post 2020, obviously, people sitting around their houses, and then everything immediately when the world started to move again, everything seemed like it got way faster than it was even prior. We're exponentially speeding up in terms of just about everything that's happening, from geopolitical situations to society to all of these different things. So they expect, and many people expect, like, hey, as soon as institutions are here via we have some clarity, well, guess what? It's all bets are off. Everything's gonna automatically and immediately rotate into this. And it's like, no. And the reason that I even brought this up is because, and in that video I said it, the only way for like Bitcoin, and the chart's going to look very similar on altcoins, especially the majors. The only way that Bitcoin has any character change from here right now is closing above $98,000 in a higher term time frame, like the weekly.
Yeah.
That would be a character change, and people will FOMO. But even if we saw something like that, which I'm not saying that's going to happen, by the way, you should watch the video for my takes on that.
So are you saying I didn't watch your video?
No, not you. I'm talking to the audience. I had literally looked down the chat as
I
I said
felt like
that.
you were talking to me, directly to me.
Well, I know you watched the video. You even played some of it here. So even if you didn't get a chance to watch it,
I want to make sure that we clarify that.
yes, we need clarity. We need to pass the.
Clarity. Listen, Landy, at the end of the day, I don't know how you feel about the Clarity Act. I don't want it to pass unless it looks like the same exact bill that was presented in the first place. We just can't have something passed. This is what I don't like, and I guess this will be the last topic that we leave off on. But I don't like when our politicians from, I don't give a fuck either side, are saying we'll pass this through and then we'll make the amendments. We need to get something through, though. No, I disagree. You make it right the first time. Make it
agree.
right the first time. No, I don't want to hear about amendments being made later because I know exactly how Congress works. Okay, it will take 9 years to go ahead and have any sort of amendment put place on the goddamn Clarity Act. But why pass a shitty bill? just to say I passed a shitty bill. You want to be the crypto capital of the world? Then present something that actually does that. Because this bill, in its current form, does not make the United States the crypto capital of the world. I'm sorry. I love America, but that does not make America the crypto capital of the world. There are other countries that are far more ahead of us at this very moment, especially at this very moment, in terms of regulations and just arms wide open type of energy, wanting to see people, innovators, innovate, build out businesses that are particularly blockchain oriented, come over. 0% taxes, no capital. You can't be the crypto capital of the world when you have all these things. Do you know how many people, Landy, are having trouble filing taxes right now because of the 1099 DA?
Quite a few.
What I'm saying is,
I have a team
you
that does my
can't be
taxes. So I just give
exactly
it to
like you
them.
can't
You deal with it.
you can't be the crypto capital of the world when you are issuing these type of forms. People are confused. CPAs are
Yes.
confused. Okay, like look, send the bill. What if I owe you 50 G's, just send hey, you owe us 50 G's. This doesn't need to we don't need to go through a fucking maze. Okay? Nobody needs to lose sleep. Nobody needs to stress over this kind of send the goddamn bill. Okay? That's how it should be. Capital gains taxes on purchases. I don't understand. Being taxed on using crypto is not going to make this the crypto capital of the world, Andy. I'm telling you. If people cannot use crypto, it will not make a hey, you know what? I just went ahead and ripped apart people that go back into fiat, right? I just in this show, in the beginning, I ripped people up for going back into fiat. But when you use fiat, you're not fucking ripped apart. You're not ripped apart on every purchase, right? How are we going to be the crypto capital of the world, Landy, if we on every single purchase we are taxed?
Yeah, well, everything. I mean, everything is taxed to the max, right? Like that is what we've become here in the United States, especially, right? You're encountering things that have been taxed dozens of times over before you even buy it at the off the store shelves and stuff like that. I think when it comes to something like a tax reform as it relates to crypto is something that I think Congress has to address directly.
Isn't that a bigger issue than the Clarity Act?
I would argue yes. And that's because a lot of that is just done purely through, IRS. They have the autonomy to kind of change and work within their framework. And that's how they've done it. And I think that Congress needs to define that, because I don't, Clarity doesn't do a whole lot to define that piece of it.
Here's the clarity, Landy. Are you ready for the
broad.
clarity? The IRS sees crypto as property. You have another department, another three-letter agency that sees it as a currency. You have another. Everybody has a different definition. You cannot be the crypto capital of the world with this type of setup. And if it's a property, then give me a 1031. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
No. Give me a 1031. Okay? Because any normal person, any investor would say, because most people who have a lot of money have land. Am I wrong? Most people buy land.
Yeah.
Right? And they're used to doing transactions, and they get 1031s, right?
Yep.
So when you define crypto, Bitcoin as property, people are expecting a 1031, right? Type of ordeal happening here.
Yeah. And Clarity doesn't provide any real
Look,
real
Landy,
tax
you're a
provisions.
smart dude. Landy's IQ is 300.
Here's the thing. Like Clarity, the only thing that it really does is is provide the framework for regulatory processes, and this is where, it doesn't do anything about, capital gains on crypto sales. There's no um
Landy, would you agree with
wa-
me?
yeah, even the
Would you
wash
agree
sale
with me?
rules, there's nothing.
Would you agree with me, Landy, that we cannot be the crypto capital of the world until we forget about the Clarity Act, until we figure out how to eliminate being taxed on your purchases, until we figure out how, like, until they get rid of all this bullshit that they have in place currently? Like, it is not a okay. If you went to 7-Eleven and you bought some stuff, it came out to $21.44, and you use your Tesla stock to purchase it, I can understand that. But Bitcoin is not a stock.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency is not a stock. You are the regulation or the policies that are in place have pinpointed it as you call it a property, but you're charging it. You're charging it as a stock. It's crazy.
Well, this is
How do
where
you explain this shit to people?
this isn't, and this is the I think the interesting part is, I think that even if clarity were to pass, it's still not going to solve that problem. There's still going to be debate about it. And look, I understand some of where both sides are coming from, both Democrat and Republican, on this issue. Because look, it really is trying to, you have to have this framework before you can figure out the rest, but this is also tactical on their part so that they can apply different things at different times that suits,
Yeah, but
their
Landy, that doesn't
party
even make
bias.
sense. Landy,
Well,
respectfully, it
because
doesn't make sense. Why
hold
would you
on,
go with
hold
the
on.
Clarity Act first?
Wait,
We
wait, wait,
need
wait.
to define
Let me
what cryptocurrency is.
let me let me let me clarify, because clarity is specifically targeting the regulatory oversight infrastructure and the divisions of the SEC and CFTC, and who's going to manage what and defines what a digital commodity is, right?
Okay.
Which then their whole point is then they can create the tax policies that surround it. But until then, and they have a point, but it should, to your point, be all in this bill. Why is it so? Why does it have to be separate? If you're going to pass the bones or the framework, infrastructure for how this is going to be seen by the SEC, seen and managed and regulated by the SEC and CFTC, then you should have the specific tax implications and solve for those things within the bill. I get why they don't want to do that when it's not politically, it takes away issues that they could, leverage within the crypto space for
And
votes.
that is right there, what you said, Landy, is the
Mhm.
problem.
Yep.
Regardless if I voted for a certain politician to go into office to hold a certain position, Democrats and Republicans work for the American people. Period.
No, they
Democrat or
don't.
Republican, Independent. That is their job. I know you're laughing, and I
It
want to laugh also, but at the end of the day, these
Oh,
people
yeah,
work
that's their
for us.
job, but they
Can you
don't do their
imagine?
job very well, huh?
Think about what you just said something, and I'm sitting here like, you imagine they're holding it. They're holding this back. They want to hold a piece back so they can negotiate something for them. Like, it is wild. They're gonna go. These people are negotiating for special interests. They're not
Yes,
negotiating for fucking American people. They're not
exactly.
negotiating for us. This is all for who can bet which one of my friends who donated to me, which one is gonna benefit from this? Hey, JP Morgan gave me $500,000 for my campaign. Let me go ahead and have a chat with Jamie Dimon, who all of a sudden, Mr. Jamie Dimon sitting there talking about during an interview that, hey, we've been Chase, JP Morgan, we've been using blockchain for a very long time. We love blockchain. But we don't agree with Coinbase and what they're doing and stalling out Okay, if you want to do all this stuff, become a bank. Because
Well,
we follow the rules and regulations. What a fucking crock of shit and what a joke. How many times has JP Morgan been fucking fined?
yeah.
You
Well,
imagine what the banks have done, what the banking system has done compared to what the people of crypto have done. They have absolutely destroyed fucking crypto. Yet what JP Morgan will make a $500 billion fucking move, which is not kosher, okay? And then they get fined $5 million for it. So they made $5 billion to get fined $5 million.
yep.
You got Wells Fargo making up fucking, they're just making up people like it's The Sims. Using fake accounts. Do you
False
imagine?
deposits,
And,
yeah.
and crypto's the problem, right? It's crypto that's the problem, not the banking system. The banking system that can close out your account on New Year's Eve for no reason because the reason is because you went ahead and bought crypto from fucking Coinbase.
Yep.
So
I mean,
these are the people that have a say. These are the people that are having a say in the bills. What I thought it's the politicians. I thought that the people that we elect that these people are trying to implement regulations that actually benefit everybody. No. All I'm hearing is that the banks don't like it, so it's not going to pass. I'm sorry, I gotta calm down. I have to
well,
fucking calm down. I have to fucking relax. I have
here's
to really relax on this one, man. Hey,
here's the thing, and you know this
what
well.
storyline? What part of the storyline are we in, man? Where we are actually the banks are deciding how crypto's gonna run.
Well, they're obviously the administration's stance is the banks need to compromise. And it was very clear from, the White House on down through the administration that you can't you can't stall this. You need to compromise and you have to find a compromise that works for both. Because they were the ones that are refusing to budge. And this is the big thing is like what you're going to see is what we're already seeing. A lot of like crypto native exchanges are going to start becoming banks, right? And this scares the ever loving crap out of the bigger banks because that means that your deposits are going to go down. You've now got competitors that you have to worry about, and we would actually be introducing more competition.
Correct.
And if they can't buy it, own it, and create um, you know one giant or amoeba of a banking system with these new entrants coming in and have to compete with others, including themselves in many cases, over things like stablecoin issuance and yield. You're the game has been rigged in their favor, and unrigging that game scares the ever loving crap out of them. That's really what it comes down to, right? Like cut straight to it. And then politicians, well, it's expensive to run for office, especially federal office. So they all have special interest groups that threaten to pull their money for their next run if they don't capitulate to what it is that they would like.
Well,
And
then we don't have people. Then we
term
don't have
limits.
officials that are working for the American people. That's the
Exactly.
bottom line.
And
Then
that's why we need term limits too. That would do and it would help, right? I think that in some ways it would also make things worse for term limits. This is also the pros and cons, right? I
of
want
course.
term limits, by the way. Let me be clear about
But
that.
I understand why the term limits were hurt. Because if you get a
Yeah.
good person in, I
Well,
mean, that's the first one that pops into my mind. Is just like if you really get a really good representative, you get a really good senator in, and there's term limits, and they're
yeah.
actually doing their jobs, like that, it would suck to see, okay, 8 years and you're out, kind of thing. So
Yeah, but what you'd also see in term limits is you would see a rush to fund via the special interest because the timetable is not as long. So you have to keep getting new people to prop up to run,
yeah,
right? So you'd get this, you'd get a lot more competition. That's for sure. But you would also get a lot more money in the shorter term to prop up the next, 4 or 8 year potential player, right? And now I think that we'd be better off in a system like that because then it forces competition over talent. But then, you know, the dollar amounts keep going up for how much you got to raise
Yeah.
every 4 years because you've only got an 8 year window to maybe get this guy in. And as soon as they get in, they're going to want to implement whatever, their special interest donors, um, want them to implement because
Yeah.
by and large, I don't think that much would change in terms of, you know, politicians not listening to their constituents, which is nearly 100% of our politicians don't listen to the constituents. They just listen to the money movers, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I think that that would still remain. It would just be a lot faster turnover. And politics would get, you think they're wild now? Oh boy,
Yeah. It'd be
they're gonna be
crazy.
they're gonna be wild, even more wild. And like, look, and I'm in favor of that, by the way. I want term limits. I'm sick of seeing dinosaurs in office that can't even stand up. They barely know where they are. Looking at you, Mitch McConnell,
Yeah. I was about to say Mitch is
and
a prime
others.
example.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, look, obviously we'll continue this conversation. Today's Thursday, by the way, March 5th, 2026. Time is 1:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me and Landy have broken down the markets. We've talked about regulation. We'll probably continue this conversation tomorrow. I like this topic. I mean, I like this
yep,
topic just because we got to do it right, man. And especially for this industry. If we're going to call ourselves, I'm going to be repetitive, but if we're going to call ourselves the crypto capital of the world, or you see America as the crypto capital of the world, well, you got to set it up that way. You can't say that. Meanwhile, the regulations say otherwise, and the current setup and policies say otherwise. You got to fix up everything before you can go ahead and utter those words. So, right now, other countries, I do believe other countries are way ahead of us. Not saying we can't catch up. I'm just saying I feel like from a regulatory standpoint, they are way ahead of us than where we currently stand. And the politicians do have to work for us. The politicians, regardless of where you stand, your party affiliation, the politicians work for us. Democrats, Republicans, Independents, they work for us. Bottom line, the American people. So, Landy,
well,
I appreciate you. Go ahead.
I
Go ahead. I
appreciate
don't.
you
We
too.
have, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll leave you with this. Midterms coming up. The administration wants compromise on this, and so do a lot of the people that are up for either reelection or, um, all of them that are up for reelection do want to see something, both on the Democrat and Republican side. I can confidently say that. And the the biggest roadblock is the institutions, the banks. That is
It
the
is.
biggest roadblock. I think that I wanted to put this out there. I think that we do see something prior to midterms and
Well,
late summer, early fall. They've got to gear up at least to throw that piece in there, throw that bone to, the crypto people, the crypto investors, and a lot of them got a lot of money, right?
yeah.
From the special interest groups that have been popping up surrounding crypto too. So I do think we're going to get something. And I wanted to, this is the reason that I say that is I think that they will get something done and it will be better than what has been proposed. And it will be better than what we've seen pass in other nations.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can watch Landy's shows Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Landy breaks it all down for you. Go ahead and give him a follow at Crypto Landy. That's on X, okay? X slash formerly known as Twitter at Crypto Landy. Landy, as always, appreciate you. See you tomorrow, Friday, at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to break down, I guess, to do a recap of the markets.
Yep. Thanks, David. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Landy. God bless America. Let's go, guys. That's Landy. If you're not following Landy, you're probably not interested in making money. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Landy breaks down the markets. Okay, does a really good job breaking down the markets. You guys continue to ask for education. You continue to ask for value. Then go ahead, tune in at 8:30. It's free. It's free. Okay, it's free. He's not charging you for breaking down the goddamn markets. There are other people that are charging you money to go ahead and have the markets broken down for you, and you still leave not understanding what the fuck is being said to you. Tune into Landy's show, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We'll be right back after this commercial break from Cake Wallet, along with Moon. I was about to say something. Oh my God, I caught myself. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we build Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Welcome back to the breakdown, hosted by me, David Gokhshtein, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from 12 to 2, Mondays through Fridays. Monday through Fridays, we go ahead and stream to every single major social media network. I wanted to make an announcement. I am officially verified on Truth Social. Thank you very much to Truth Social. Really cool stuff coming up. So shout out to Truth Social. There you go. Do it again. Again, yesterday I announced, and I'm also verified on Kick now. So you guys don't have to get lost, and also now a part of the Kick partner program. That'll be really fucking cool. Also, shout out to TikTok. I miss TikTok. Shout out to Fran. Shout out to Tech for moderating the room, keeping the room nice and cordial. And shout out to the audience on TikTok. We continue to grow on TikTok. Phenomenal numbers on TikTok. So shout out to you guys. I'm going to get back to doing my videos on TikTok. And there's a lot of other things that are happening as well. There's a lot of things that'll be announced this month on this network. That's right. I want to get into politics real quick. We talked about crypto. Hopefully everybody got some value out of it. We had Landy on today. Landy's a part of the Gakshi Media company. Broke down everything you needed to know about the markets. We talked about regulation. We went back and forth. On regulation. Forget about the Clarity Act. Let's get everything done. Let's get everything done from the other side first. Like, how do we use crypto in the United States of America? You want to be known as the crypto capital of the world and get rid of capital gains on crypto. Allow people to use crypto. Allow people to use what crypto was intended to be used for, and that is peer-to-peer transactions. All right. We'll get back to that. I want to talk about the fake ass MAGA / Republican influencers who are really not, and never were they weren't Republicans. They were never a part of MAGA. What these people were a bunch of leeches that farmed Donald Trump and the MAGA movement. Nick Fuentes is one of them. This guy has always 100% been a Democrat. And I say that respectfully. To go out there yesterday and say that I am going to vote for the Democratic Party and I encourage my audience to do the same. You know right then and there, Nick Fuentes was never about America first. Think about that. This is a man who had his platform taken away by Democratic figures. His social media accounts were taken away by liberals. Think about who gave it back to him. Think about who gave it back to him. Elon Musk. If it wasn't for Elon Musk buying Twitter at $44 billion, Nick Fuentes would never have the platform that he has today. He would never. Think about Candace Owens sitting there every single day talking about she speaks to ghosts. Or she had a dream which Charlie Kirk came into and he told her everything. Grifters. That's what they are. Leeches. Tucker Carlson, who I enjoyed watching, has lost his mind. And this is not because these people are going against Israel. This has nothing to do with that. As soon as these people, Alex Jones. Did you guys watch this? Did you guys watch some of this shit lately? This guy, Dave Smith, that comes out, a comedian turned political influencer out here. Same thing. Not going to vote for Republicans. So you guys are going to vote for Democrats who wanted to take away the First Amendment or alter the First Amendment. They want to take the Second Amendment and throw it in the garbage. You want to have your platforms taken away. Listen, I understand. I get this. If you do not agree with Trump sending our military to go over to Iran and take out or end the current war that Iran has inflicted on the entire world for decades. If you're mad about that, I can understand that. But to sit there after you grifted, to sit there after you guys grifted off of Trump, nobody knew you guys before Trump. Do you understand this? Nobody knew you guys at all before you started milking Trump. Before you started milking the goddamn MAGA movement. Nobody knew you. This is straight up plants from the Democratic Party. 100%. You can disagree with your party. You can disagree with your party. You don't have to like everything that Trump does. I said this so many times. Some of the things I don't like. But the pros outweigh the cons. But then to encourage an audience and say, go vote Democrat 2026, burn it all down to 2028, vote in the Democrat. Have we not lived through a horrific time? 4 years. Did you forget, like Biden forgets, about what happened for the last 4 years on the Biden administration? Are we this delusional? Wow. We lived under Biden, a president who didn't even know he was president, falling off of a bike sideways. I've never seen that happen. I've never seen anybody fall off of a bicycle sideways. I've never seen it. I've never seen, forget about even a person. I've never seen a person fall off of a bicycle sideways the way he fell off a bicycle. We're talking about a president who did not know he was president, falling down the stairs all over the place, walking around like, where am I? That's what you want to go back to? This is who you're encouraging your audience to vote for because you disagree with Trump? No, that can't be. It can't. People got to, you guys got to take off the fucking blinders at this point. Nobody's this stupid. Nobody can be this dumb. Nobody can be this dumb. This is an absolute psyop. It is an absolute psyop. Day one industry plants, get them into the MAGA movement, milk the audience, and then turn on the only leader in the last decades that actually gives a fuck about America. Yeah, let's go ahead and turn on him. Let's turn on Trump, the only person that gives a rat's ass about America and the American people. Let's turn on him. Because I don't like the fact that he went to end a war with Iran. I like you guys know, I don't know, you don't know either. Like classified information that is being presented to the administration saying that Iran has missiles that can go ahead and hit us or hit our allies. You know what? The crazy part is, and this is insane. This is the crazy part. God forbid Trump doesn't act. See, Trump can't win. If Trump does not act and Iran does something to, let's say, hurt Americans or our military, Trump would then be blamed. Why didn't you act? You had the information, but you didn't act. And then they would try to impeach him. So Trump can't win. Trump cannot win. Trump is protecting the United States of America, the best interest for the United States of America. He is fighting a regime, a terroristic regime in Iran, to take them out for the whole world, not just for America, but for the whole world. And then he's fighting a secret battle with China. China, who has done everything to psy-up the world into thinking that they have done nothing, but they have done a lot of fucking damage. And here you have a president who the Democrats themselves have acknowledged for decades that China is a threat. Pelosi, Schumer, I can name them all out for you, Clintons. They have acknowledged, Biden, Obama, I'm naming your side out. They have all acknowledged that China is a threat. And here comes Trump, who is taking out the threat. Here is Trump, who is trying to secure the United States of America, who's trying to get rid of undocumented individuals that are in the United States of America right now. Here he is, a year and 2 months in to his presidency, doing more in this time than any goddamn president has done for the American citizen. And here we are. We have now the influencers. Telling you to vote for Democrats because they don't like what Trump has done. These influencers, what have they done? What have they done for America? What have they done for America? All it is a reality TV show. Because now the influencers are just battling each other. They go toe-to-toe with each other every single day. And there's nothing productive that comes out of it. It's just more rage bait, more violence. Probably paid by Qatar. I'm 100% sure. Paid by fucking China, Qatar. Can't fool me. And of course, they'll say, they're making up some bullshit. They're making up some bullshit to just, no. You guys that have turned on Trump and MAGA, you guys, you milk the MAGA movement. And now that you feel that you're big enough and your platform's big enough, you have turned and exposed exactly who you always were. And that was a hardcore liberal. That is it. That's all you've done, is expose who you really are. The last thing I remember is I voted for Donald Trump to be the president of the United States of America. I didn't vote for any of you motherfuckers. I voted for Donald Trump to be the president of the United States of America. And though I don't agree with everything, and that's normal because we're all human beings and we have our own takes, but for the most part, I think, or actually, I know that Trump has done a hell of a job compared to what we had before. Comparing to what we had before to what we have now, of course it looks like a hell of a job. What did Biden's administration do for us? What did Biden's administration do for us? A lot of you guys are in crypto. You know, I'm fascinated by people in crypto being Democrats. Your own party did everything possible for you to be poor, but for their special interests to be rich. They did everything possible to try to break crypto and its structure and break the innovators and the longtime believers and take this entire ecosystem and give the keys to the special interest that funds them. How can you be a Democrat? If you're, I'm talking about if you're in crypto, how can you be a Democrat? Explain it. You can really say with a straight face for 4 years under the Biden administration that you had good times? Half the people born in the United States of America that opted to build in crypto left the United States of America to build elsewhere because of everything that was happening. We lost massive talent, which would have brought in massive revenue into the United States of America because I don't want to say we, because the Democrats were more interested about shutting down crypto when it came to retail and making sure that their best friends, that being the banking system bros, they control, the elites control this motherfucking space. Some crackhead in the TikTok chat just said, under Biden, we had peace. What? What? Are you fucking kidding me? What peace? I am so lost for words. To tell people to. Oh, my dog's like fucking crazy right now. Welcome to the breakdown, episode 677. How does Zelensky get the United States of America to print him billions of dollars? And then how does Zelensky and his administration not know where some of this money went? Democrats, the Biden administration would call up social media platforms and tell them, we cannot have people like so-and-so talk the way they're talking. We need their accounts shut down. And they shut down, let's say COVID. There were a lot of medical professionals that did not agree with the vaccine. Educated medical professionals who studied their asses off, graduated with the highest honors, that were suspended from social media platforms because they had a different opinion about the vaccines. During the Biden administration, we experienced what it is to live under a socialist regime. You didn't notice it, but if you look back right now, you can see it. If you did not agree with the party, if you did not agree with what the administration was pumping out to you, with the narratives that they were pushing, you were canceled. Under the Biden administration, every single other country thrived. Every single other country abused us, the United States of America, and had absolutely no respect for us. But let me get away from that. Back to the American citizens. You talk about wanting to vote for Democrats, the same people that took away platforms, that took away your right to have freedom of speech. Because yes, that right was taken away. That right was taken away from us. You cannot say certain things. Look, I'm on TikTok, and I still, with Trump in office, they still have the algorithm set up, not because of Trump, but TikTok's algorithm still has it set up to where I might be crossing the line when I speak about even this kind of topic. YouTube still strikes people. And that's not because of President Trump. That's because you have liberals running these platforms. And yes, it's their companies. It's centralized companies and they can do whatever they want. But Twitter was subpoenaed to appear in front of Congress. They told everybody, they told the general public that they did do these things, and these things like suspending people came from the Biden administration. They were literally in Congress, in front of Congress, saying these things. And you, because you have a disagreement or you do not like what Trump has done, you now encourage your audience to go vote Democrat? Who are you voting for? Gavin Newsom, who's destroyed California along with the rest of the Democrats, like Maxine Waters? This is who you're voting for? This is who you're encouraging people to vote for? A Gavin Newsom? An AOC? A Bernie Sanders? Have you not seen Mandani and the way you guys voted for free and what's happening in New York City now where snow can't even get fucking taken off the sidewalks? Where garbage is left for fucking 2 to 3 weeks to rot in front of businesses? That's what you're talking about? Taxing the rich? How much are you going to tax the rich? You already got the rich at 90%. What, you want the next 10? And then when you tax the rich at 100%, where are you getting the rest of the money from? Once you got, and where does this money go, by the way? I'd love to know where the infrastructure bill. I haven't seen one piece of infrastructure fucking fixed. There are potholes all over the place. Potholes are not being fixed. Bridges aren't being fixed or repaired. Baltimore's bridge is still under the water. Infrastructure bills they talk about. They pass an infrastructure bill. Did you ever read this infrastructure bill? And what it took to get it passed? The Pentagon 9 failed audits? What are we talking about? Democrats win, you won't have a platform. If the Democrats win, you're not going to have a platform. All you tough ass influencers will not have the ones that are now woken up, the woke left and the woke right, you all won't have a platform. Or maybe the woke left will, but the woke right definitely won't have a platform. With Democrats in charge. If we're talking about Democrats like, let's say, Senator Fetterman, then I'm okay with Fetterman. But if we're talking about these crazy ass Democrats now, these radical left Democrats, you want to put them back in charge? Could you imagine if Kamala Harris becomes the president of the United States of America? Can you imagine if J.D. Vance were to not be the next president of the United States of America? Or let's say, whether it's J.D. Vance or Rubio, whoever decides or whatever they decide. You imagine if it's not them and imagine it is Kamala Harris. Well, let's say Gavin Newsom as the vice president. Do you understand what would happen to America? Do you understand what kind of shithole America would turn into? We wouldn't be fighting to be the greatest superpower. We'd be fighting over pronouns and whether men can play in women's sports. But here we are. Now we have the most celebrated mega influencers waking up. They're waking up. Oh my God. We attacked I stand with Iran, with the Iranian fucking regime that has funded terrorism all over the fucking place. We stand with them. Disgusting. You guys you ain't Republicans. You're not Republicans. You're absolutely not Republicans. You are always some radical left fucking plant that was put in here to pretend to be MAGA, pretend to be America first, and then midterms come around. Obviously, 2028 is around the corner. And you're preparing to go ahead and put in your own, which has always been probably Gavin Newsom, AOC, Bernie Sanders, if he's fucking running, Kamala Harris, who's at the bar right now. Sad. Pretty sad. Pretty fucking sad that you can live through an era where 15 to 20 illegal immigrants, aliens, undocumented individuals came into this country, open borders, came into this goddamn country. Drugs came into this country which have killed Americans. Drugs which have killed Americans. From Canada's borders to the Mexican borders, killed Americans. And you can sit there and say that you want to bring more Democrats in. So what? They can open up the gates again? Oh, no. We're going to go back to the Epstein files. That's what we're going to go to. The Epstein files that which Biden had, which none of you guys talked about. Not a single fucking person talked about the Epstein files until Trump came into office again. And this has been the biggest psyop in the history of American fucking politics. They waited to put the shit on Trump so Trump releases it and not Biden or the Democrats. Because the Democrats had 4 years to release all this shit, but they were like, let him do it. Let Trump do it. Let him take the fall. He's not in there because if he was in there in terms of if he did any bullshit, then he would have never got elected. Like I said yesterday, he would never got elected to the highest position in this fucking land. There was absolutely no way he would be the 47th president of the United States of America. But let's wait. Let's give it off to him. And this is how we're going to hammer away because we don't have a goddamn thing to run on. So let us just say Orange Man bad. And then let's make sure we hammer away with the Epstein files. Because the Epstein files, since you guys all care so much about them, you could have ripped apart the Biden administration for not coming out with them. Because the Biden administration, the Democrats, do not want to take the fall, do not want to be the party that releases information on their own party. That's the problem. And obviously, I'm sure Republicans are in there as well. I'm sure it's both sides of the parties, maybe independents too. But the Democrats did not want to take the fall. Some of these motherfuckers pay these people to be in office. They didn't want to take the fall for it. Let Trump do that shit. The Democrats controlled all the 3-letter agencies under Biden. Easily could have came out with all this stuff. Easily had Biden auto sign the same thing that Trump did, which was release the files. They could have easily done all this stuff. And guess what? They didn't give a fuck about doing it. They didn't give a shit. The PSYOP is in 8K. They 100% waited to hand this off to him. And when I say him, that is President Trump. Knowing that they reviewed those fucking files, they didn't find shit. And they were probably furious. What they found was that Epstein despised Trump. He despised him. Because Trump ratted his ass out. And not because Trump found out that he knew, not about that. He just didn't like him. Trump threw him out of Mar-a-Lago, okay? If anything, y'all, the biggest thing you can say about Trump is Trump was snitching, okay? That's the biggest thing you can, and if you don't like snitches, then you could go ahead and say, yo, our boy Trump snitched on this motherfucker. But you know what? Deservingly so, fuck this motherfucker. Bill Clinton gave a deposition or whatever that was a few days ago with his wife Hillary. They sat there and he said the things that Democrats did not want to hear, the liberals did not want to hear. And he said, I don't think Trump was ever a part of any of this shit. And that hurt the Democrats. That hurt. So when I see some of these MAGA, air quote, MAGA influencers that milk the hell out of the MAGA party, out of the Republican Party, and now talk about, well, we're voting for Democrats. We know what this was all about. This was a fucking psyop. a goddamn psyop. Charlie Kirk is missed. I mean, this is why Charlie Kirk is missed. Like the party, I said this, if you replay my show, go back a few months. I said the party will suffer without Charlie Kirk because all the grifters will come out, and they have come out. I'm disappointed in Megyn Kelly. I really am. I've been one of her biggest fans. Really have been one of her biggest fans. And now, here she goes. Candace Owens attacking Erica Kirk. Can you imagine this? Here's a woman who just lost her husband. Whether you like Charlie Kirk or not. Here's a woman who just lost her husband. You got people saying that she's fake crying. Everybody deals with certain situations differently. I think Candace Owens wanted to be what Erica Kirk was to Charlie Kirk. You guys are lucky. They are very lucky that Charlie Kirk unfortunately isn't around. Because Charlie Kirk would put all you motherfuckers into your place. This would not be happening if Charlie Kirk was around because Charlie Kirk's voice was powerful. Charlie had a powerful voice, whether you liked him or not. He had a powerful voice. And right now, the Republican Party is missing his voice. And now you're seeing all the snakes come out of the grass. That's it. It is 2:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome to the breakdown. Sponsored by Midnight. Sponsored by Cake Wallet. Polymarket is the official prediction market of the breakdown and the DG brand. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Ladies and gentlemen, here's breaking news. Breaking news. This is from Donald Trump. This is from Donald Trump. Kristi Noem has been removed from her current position as the Secretary of Homeland Security. It's effective of March 31st, 2026. She'll be replaced by the good old senator from the great state of Oklahoma, Mullen. And she will be moved into a special envoy for the Shield of Americas, our new security incentive in the Western Hemisphere, as we are announcing on Saturday, Trump says, in Florida. And he wants to thank her for her services at Homeland. So, breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Noem is being replaced by Mullen at the Department of Homeland Security. So, obviously, she's taken a lot of heat. She's taken a lot of heat for a lot. Listen, you know what? At the end of the day, that position is absolutely hard. I think that is a fucking tough position. That is 100% a tough position to manage. I think her and the Border Czar did a great job getting rid of undocumented immigrants and stuff like that. But I understand why. I get it, and I understand why Trump made the move. Midterms are coming up. I get it. I understand. And I think she would understand. This is not Trump. This is not Trump bowing down. This is not Trump bowing down to the Democrats or even his own party. This is Trump just, I guess, understanding the temperature in the room. So, I mean, she's not going to be the Secretary of Homeland Security, but she is moving into a different position within the administration. So, again, I want to make it, again, breaking news. She wasn't fired because a lot of people will say she's fired. She was just moved to a different department. That's it. I think she's done. I think she's done a great job. Could everything be perfect? No, but I think for the most part, she did a really good job with the situation she was handed. And I also don't think, I don't believe. Why is it? She hasn't been fired. I don't know why the reporting is coming in that she's been fired. She wasn't fired. She's just out as the Secretary of Homeland Security. So it is what it is. Replaced by Mullen, who, if you watch Senator Mullen, he's tough. He is very tough. Smart, tough, takes no shit. I remember when he was about to fight somebody. He was literally about to fight somebody on the Senate floor. Was it the Senate floor? I believe the Senate floor. I believe. I might be wrong, but I believe. But we'll be right back. Let me get some more, and we'll report on this right after this commercial break.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Welcome back to, let me just play. Sorry about that. Welcome back. I was trying to get, I was trying to, I was just trying to bring up the live feed here, but I wasn't able to. But everybody, I don't know why everybody goes right to fired, but okay. You know, the official statement from Donald Trump is that she is stepping down. She is going to be put in a different role, and Mullen will take. Once again, breaking news: Mullen will take over as his, as the head man in charge of Homeland Security. So there you go. After just a year, of being um, the Secretary of Homeland Security, she is now stepping down from that role, and she will be a part of a new envoy that oversees the Western Hemisphere in terms of security. And you have Mullen, the senator, who steps in now. Schumer right now is absolutely thrilled. The Democrats are thrilled. This is not a victory for, I don't think they understand this. This is not a victory for the Democrats. This is not a victory for anybody who hates Trump. Trump just, I think, obviously, I don't have time to marinate this and study this, but sitting back and assessing the situation, I think she's done a great job. I think her and the border czar did a great job. There are things, obviously, that happened. Okay, things that happened that were out of her control. The pulse on the ground right now is what I think Trump read. I think the administration read the pulse on the ground, and they made the change. That's it. And it probably has a lot to do with the midterms. It probably has a lot to do with the midterms, because now the Democrats can't point at her. Because if they point at her and she's not there anymore in that current position, they have nothing to go on. Especially if Mullen comes in and, applies a different swag and aura to the position. So there you go. That's breaking news. That's the first, right? That is the first since Trump's been in office. The first major move, right? It feels like it's been the first major move that has happened under this Trump administration. So there you go. Welcome to the breakdown, episode 677. So yeah, that is, I'm sure that'll be talked about for the next week to 2 weeks. I'm sure you're going to see that on CNN. I'm sure they're going to be celebrating on The View. I'm sure Abby Phillips is going to be jumping up in the air for joy. Was she the best? I mean, like, was she the best candidate? I don't know. I just, from, people ask me this question. To me, it's more so, I think she did her job. But I just think that doing that job is really fucking hard. That is an absolute hard ass job to do, especially when you have 15 to 20 million illegal aliens that entered this country under the Biden administration. To now tackle that, along with obviously Tom Homan, the border czar, to tackle it now, it's tough, and things will happen. That's it, bottom line. So, midterms are important for Trump. Midterms, the Republicans need to win come midterms. And, within the next few months, if Democrats can't point at Homeland Security, if they can't point at ICE, now you're going to have, I'm sure, the Nick Fuenteses and all these fake ass MAGA. They're not even MAGA anymore. They stated they're no longer MAGA. They're Democratic, influencers now. They'll all come out and say, "Oh, Trump bend the knee to the Democrats." They won't even assess the situation. They'll say, "Oh my God, he bent the knee. He got rid of her because the Democrats." No, I think at the end of the day, Trump Trump is a businessman, and Trump is running the United States of America like a business, because it is a business at the end of the day. It is a business. It's in the business of making money. It's in the business of capitalism. He is not a politician. I've said this so many times. Trump is not a politician. He is a business person. And if he felt like he needed to make a move in that position to upgrade it, then that's what he did. That's it. That is it. And hopefully we continue. Hopefully we just continue to get rid of all these illegal aliens out of this country. Like, that should not stop. That should still be the focus, okay, of the United States of America. Get rid of everybody that is here illegally. Get rid of everybody that is here illegally. If you did not wait in line, if you did not get the proper papers to be in this country, you should not be here. American workers should not be deprived, or American citizens should not be deprived of work because there is an illegal alien taking that position. So that very simple. And in every country, every other country outside of the United States of America understands this concept. Only Americans don't understand the concept that illegal people that are illegally here shouldn't be here, because it does a lot on resources. It does a lot on taking jobs away from the American people. But you wouldn't understand that because you're too blinded by your party affiliation. So that is the first. That is the first. That is the first. Unless you guys want to tell me that is really the first person. I know there was something in the beginning with the space program and stuff like that, but this is one of the major, obviously, one of the major programs, major establishments that we have in the United States of America where there has officially been a change. You know, so there you go. We'll talk about that tomorrow and see how people feel about that. If people like the move, if people don't. I see there we have comments going, back and forth about whether or not she should have been left in place. And then there are others that are saying that this was the right move. So we'll talk more about it. But I went into the fake influencers, the grifters, these fake influencers, the political influencers that were all MAGA, all Trump, one of the greatest presidents of all time, leading this country out of an absolute disaster after the 4 years of Biden and that administration and whoever those people were behind the scenes running this country, pressing that auto pen. Imagine Biden got 88 million votes. I don't know who the hell voted for him. Okay, 88 million votes. Crazy work, crazy absolute work. What happened there? But at the end of the day, at the end of the fucking day, we have a real leader in charge. We have a real leader in charge. I just hope the biggest thing for me here as I end this show, and it's 2:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as I end this show, the one thing I do want to see Trump do is make sure that this clarity bill, that the clarity bill itself is corrected. And this bill helps the people of the United States of America, the people, the retail buyer that participates in this market doesn't get affected, okay? That it's not the banks that win out here, because the whole principle of crypto was to escape the banking system. And to see the banks take control, it would be horrific. So do not pass the bill until it's correct. And also what we talked about earlier today when Landy was on. Landy, who you can catch Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We talked about, hey, man, and I said this to Landy, it's time to allow the American citizen to use crypto the way it was intended to. Okay, that's what we need to go ahead and focus on as well. But don't vote in a bill just because we want to pass a bill and celebrate something that doesn't make any sense. I don't care about amendments. I don't want amendments. That would take time. There's a lot of tape to go through to get anything changed on any one of these bills. Okay, so let's not go there. Okay, let's not pass bad bills. Let's pass good bills that respect and help the industry and allow retail to participate. Okay. Excuse my language. Actually, don't, but fuck the banks. Okay. The banks have done nothing, absolutely shit for the American people. Okay. So I can care less about them. Also, again, breaking news. I already broke it. Noam has essentially been moved to a different position. Senator Mullen will be taken over. Mullen is a senator from Oklahoma. He will be moving into that position as the new head of Homeland Security. So there you go. I appreciate you guys on TikTok. Shout out to TikTok. Shout out. By the way, I can't wait until Truth Social comes out with the live streaming there. But shout out to Truth Social for verifying me. I appreciate management there. Also, shout out to Kick. And we'll talk more about the Kick partnership program that I'm a part of with Kick. That is dope. Again, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Let's do Friday, which is tomorrow. Today's Thursday, March 5th, 2026. It is 2:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I haven't even checked on the markets. We did talk about the markets. I haven't checked on the markets yet. Okay, I haven't. But I do believe that crypto will absolutely do well. Moving in 2026, it will be the comeback for crypto. If you are not in crypto, if you are sidelined, I think you should start looking, studying, researching, looking at your portfolio, see if you are in the right positions. Set yourselves up to win, because when the money comes in, you won't know. It will happen out of nowhere. Once the money starts flooding in, make sure you're in a position of winning. Make sure you're not in a position of running around, racing around, chasing. Make sure you're not chasing the next play, because that's how people get blown up. When you chase these plays, when you start chasing crypto, when you start chasing green candles, that's when you lose. You lose. Okay? The money is made in the red. And I'll say this again. When times are boring, that's when money is made. That is when you make money. Ask any wealthy person. They made all their money when times were red, when people were panicking. They weren't panicking. They were buying and sitting back and being patient and waiting. Not everything that you get into will win. You can get into 30 assets. Doesn't mean that 30 of them will win. But there's a hell of a good chance that you will win in crypto. There are a lot of projects out here that are destined to win. There are a lot of projects out here that we need in our everyday lives. Privacy, right? Privacy coins will do very well. And that's not because people want to hide things from people. People just don't want their privacy to be invaded by random people, okay? Random people shouldn't know your net worth, okay? Random people should not know how much money you have. Shout out to Midnight for being the sponsor. Shout out to Charles for creating Midnight, okay? Obviously, show's sponsored by Midnight. You'll think, I'm just saying this, but I've been talking about Midnight before the show was sponsored by Midnight. That privacy matters. And Monero, there's Monero and there's others. But in that conversation, you got to loop in Midnight. Also, Cake Wallet. Shout out to let me play this commercial. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. So that, I'm playing that an extra time there just to let you know I did a commercial. We'll have a lot more commercials that'll be playing on the network, okay? Stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more that I'm doing in terms of breaking down things from an educational standpoint. So stay tuned to that as well. There is something big in the works. There is something absolutely huge in the works. I can't wait to show it off, okay? I cannot wait to show it off. I will not say anything right now because I'm very superstitious. But every time I tell you guys, everybody who has watched this show, anytime I've told you that big guests are coming on, big things are happening, they've happened. So there is something that I've been working on day and night, day and night, day and night. It is going to be absolutely huge. I really do appreciate everybody who's believed in me. That's really it. I appreciate everybody who has believed in my long-term vision. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate my audience. Thank you very much for giving me this platform. Thank you very much for tuning in every single day to hear me chop it up here. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Especially the people that come here every day and watch the show for 2 hours straight. You watch me talk here with a bunch of notable figures that come on here, or you just watch me talk at times for 2 hours straight. I appreciate you. God bless America. God bless America, greatest country in the world. And I hope that the operation that is taking place in Iran right now, I hope we can finish it off in the next week or two, and then we can get back to business. Okay? We can get back to business. I'm pretty sure, and I'll talk about more of about this subject, but I'm pretty sure Greenland and Cuba and Colombia, that might be next on the agenda. Because I really believe that Trump wants to take back and shield at the same time the United States of America. And here's the one thing that I'll say for anybody who's against it. Let me say this real quick. I want you to listen to this. Our allies in NATO, NATO or not NATO, it doesn't matter. Our allies did not want to participate with us. Trump exposed them in 4K. He showed you who stands with America and who doesn't. Okay? That's what Trump showed you during this process as well. Or within this process, you saw exactly who is a partner with the United States of America. That's why Greenland is important. Spain would not allow us to use their bases. Spain, I'm going to say this again. Spain did not allow us to use their bases to fight Iran. Okay? Think about that. I want you to think clearly about this. They did not allow us. Everybody has shown their face. That is why when Trump mentions Greenland, take it seriously, because if we have control of Greenland, we don't have to have this conversation with Spain. Okay? We just don't have to have these conversations. There have been other countries that have stepped up now, and Trump is 100% reshuffling the board. We now know who stands with the United States of America and who doesn't. The UK does not have a spine. I told you, the United States of America was failing under Biden because of the leadership. It was horrible, and people were just fighting about pronouns. Look at the UK. Massive immigration. A prime minister with no spine. Look what's happened to the UK. Look what's happened to every single woke country. Look what's happened to every single woke country. You can go, and this is not even a Democratic or Republican fucking stance. Look at every single country that has gone woke. Australia, New Zealand, are you serious? They're arresting people for speech on the internet. If you say something that they deem is bad, you are getting arrested. Immigration, they're letting everybody in. Unreal. But now we know who our friends are. Now we know who our real allies are. And I don't know why America's still in NATO. I really don't know why we're still in NATO. We should get the fuck out of NATO and just, I don't know, come up with a new fucking organization. We're paying the tab. Canada won't help us, but we don't need Canada's help. Canada got one jet fighter. What are we going? No, seriously, they got like 43 jet fighters. What are we going to do with Canada? We protect Canada. You would think the United States of America protects Canada. The reason why Canada is safe is because of the United States of America. It's because of our military that Canadians, and I'm sure a lot of Canadians appreciate the United States of America, but the leadership doesn't. This woke ass leadership, this socialistic leadership that Canada has, they don't appreciate the United States of America and what they have. But they'll make deals with China. China, think about that. Canada's leadership has sold themselves out to China. Wild. Anyway. It's crazy. We pay so much money. We protect everybody. And our allies will not even lift a foot. So what's the point of being a part of NATO? What is the point? It's crazy. Anyway, God bless America. God bless the American citizens. Okay? God bless everybody. God bless our military. Hopefully we can end this operation quickly and prevent any more further loss of life from our side. That's what I want to see. The Bengal Tiger, she's commenting, let me just say this. It's the government I have an issue with. It's that woke shit that I have an issue with. The UK and its military, God bless them. God bless them. And God bless the UK people that are normal, that aren't these woke left liberals and shit. Like, God bless those people that want their country back, that don't want this fucking open border migration into your goddamn country. I'm telling you, the elites went ahead and played a fucking stupid game. The elites put this into fucking order, man. They pushed this shit. They really did. They really did. And it's sad to fucking see. It really is. One of the greatest presidents of all time. You guys, I'm telling you, decades from now, you will appreciate Donald Trump. Decades from now, history will look back at Donald Trump coming into office as the 47th and saving us from this woke ass agenda. Saving us from saving the taxpayer from paying $20 billion or $20 million to research trans mice. One fucking day, people will wake up and say, you know what? Trump did a hell of a fucking job. We should have appreciated him when he was in office. That's what's going to happen. Some of the lefties, some of the woke left, the radical liberals will wake up one day and say, holy shit, what was I thinking? And why was I thinking this? Anyway, again, breaking news. Secretary Noem of Homeland Security will be stepping down at the end of the month, and she will be replaced by Senator Mullen from Oklahoma. He'll become the new Secretary of Homeland Security. So there's that. We touched on everything today. Crypto, take advantage of crypto. If you're in crypto, take advantage of it right now. If you aren't learning AI, you should. It's good to know. It's good to be educated on AI and AI agents because that's where the future is going. So it's good to be educated on this stuff. Whether you like it or not. You don't have to like something. You should be educated on it. Crypto will make the comeback. Crypto will do absolutely fine. This is an absolute great opportunity for you to get in. It's an absolutely great opportunity to get into something. Shout out to my sponsors, Midnight. Shout out to Cake Wallet, Secure Wallet. And the official sponsor of prediction markets for the DG brand and also for the breakdown is Polymarket. Guys, be good to each other. Be good to each other. I leave you with this. Be good to each other. Support each other. You don't like somebody. One thing I don't understand, I watch this all the time. If you don't like somebody, why waste your energy on that? Like time, the currency, time, you will never get back. Focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. Be great. Be fucking great. Build your shit out. Do the things that you want to do. Don't focus on the little things. Focus on yourselves. Focus on yourselves. I'm talking to you from experience. The minute that I started, the minute I became a little bit more selfish, which isn't bad. This is not a bad thing. People, before I leave, before I turn off the show, when you become a little bit more selfish, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. You need to care about yourself first, and you need to build yourself first before you can help anybody else. And that's the bottom line. If you don't care about yourself, if you're just not in the right place of mind, if you're not in the right position, what good are you going to do for other people? What good are you going to do for others? That's why you got to just be for all you entrepreneurs out there, be a little bit selfish. It's okay. It will allow you the opportunity to not only level yourself up, but in the future to help others out. Because then you'll be in a position to where you can help. Anyway, shout out to the fake MAGA influencers who are now coming out the closet. I always knew that you guys were not a part of the movement. You can tell that you weren't a part of it. You can tell you're not real Republicans. You can tell that you're a bunch of sellouts to even utter the words of go and vote for Democrats come midterms and then 2028, burn it all down, vote for Democrats like Gavin Newsom and stuff like. We know where you stand. We know where you stand. So for that audience to even listen, if for you guys to even think about wanting to go back to the times of Biden, you guys are absolutely insane. Absolutely 100% insane. That is insanity. That is absolute insanity to want to go back to the Biden era. Anyway, on that note, shout out to all the liberals that join my show. One day I'll convert you to seeing my point of view, and you'll wake up one morning and you'll say, you know what? That guy was right. On that note, I'm out.